Hello everyone, welcome to our webinar. My name is Zakaria Suleiman and I will be your host today together with my colleague Pierrick Deleuze. Today we are going to speak about the exciting topic of integration possibilities at IRIS, and the webinar will be around 30 minutes. Your speaker today is Pierre Deschamps, and maybe Pierre, you can start introducing yourself.
Yes, hello everyone. Very special not to see everybody, but we'll try to make it happen. So my name is Pierre Deschamps. I think most of you must have heard about me because I'm now working for almost 20 years with IRIS. I know that there are a lot of people behind the screen, a lot of people I know from Canada, from the US, from Europe, and some from Asia I saw also. So thank you for joining. So yes, as I said, I've worked for 20 years for IRIS and I've had several positions, but today I'm a sales director of the OEM division at IRIS, and this will be the topic. Zakaria?
Yes, you can ask your questions via the questions tab on the right-hand side, and there will be also a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. And also we have prepared some polls questions, which you can see in the polls tab later on. You will be able to replay this webinar and download the presentation later today on our website. And now I would like to give the stage to Pierre to start with the presentation.
Thank you very much, Zakaria. So let's get started. As Zakaria said, I will be talking for 30 minutes. It will be a PowerPoint presentation, so there is no demo of anything. It will be mostly listening to all the possibilities that we have. And when you talk about integration at IRIS, a lot of people think that it's only toolkits, but there are many other stuff that we can be integrating into your application. And I think this will be the question of our first poll. So if you look in the poll tab, you should see now that there is a poll to know what type of integration you would prefer with IRIS. So the most obvious one is the toolkits, where basically we provide you with some DLLs that you can integrate into your solution. And you see we have 3 different ones, which we will be covering a bit later. But next to toolkits, we also have products that we can share with you. We have developed quite a few of them, and some of them can be bundled or even white labeled for your company. So we will also talk a bit more about that. And most recently, starting off end of last year, beginning of this year, we've started to put some of our technology in the cloud as a service, which we all brand under the name IRIS Pulse. So we will be covering the first service that we are offering at the moment at IRIS. So the first poll was about which type of integration you're most interested in, because this could help us maybe to have another webinar on this specific integration. So Zakaria, do you have the results for me?
Yes, around 50% preferred services, 30% toolkits, and 25% products.
Okay, so that's no surprise. I think a lot of people are now liking to have the services available, and this is exactly where IRIS is going to. So first, the toolkits. The most general toolkit that we have is the IRIS OCR SDK. But it doesn't only include OCR. It, of course, includes OCR in a lot of different languages. So we have all the European languages, but also some Cyrillic languages. The Greek alphabet we support. We support some Asian languages. And we've added some of them recently, by the way. We also support Arabic. We support a lot of the different number of languages. This is something that we've been developing for 30 years, and we keep on adding new ones. But next to that, we also have what we call ICR. So this is intelligent character recognition. It's basically handwritten numbers or block letters. So this is something we have developed in the past, and once we wanted to enter the forms market, so we have developed it but we didn't go out all the way down to the cursive handwriting. So this is not something that we would support, but we support some of these ICR technology inside of our toolkit. Next to that, we also have barcode, 1D barcode, 2D barcodes. We support most of the types of barcodes which you could be relying on our toolkits. What is interesting is that inside of our toolkit, we have several engines. Some are more specialized in one type of barcode and the others in the other type of barcode. So when we have these different engines, we can do a voting and we can ensure a higher accuracy in terms of barcode recognition. Now, before, in fact, doing OCR, there's a lot of imaging capability inside of our OCR toolkit. We can indeed clean up the images. Simple cleanup is just rotate the image or deskew it. But more advanced one would be like removing some speckle, removing some lines. When it comes down, for example, to forms processing, we can remove some lines. We can binarize with different settings, different images. And we can also try to put straighter the image. Now, next to that, once we output some files, before outputting, we can compress the image. This is something that we've been working for a long time on. Before outputting the file, we can compress the color image, even the black and white, but it's even more impressive when you compress the color image. This allows you to keep, in fact, the color image. Sometimes in the past, people would just only keep the black and white image because in that case the size of the file would be not too large. But now with this compression technology, you can keep the color image. And finally, once we have processed the files, we still need to format them into your preferred output format. So the most obvious one for archiving or retrieval afterward would be PDF, but you can also export to text file or docx if you want to rework the document. So that was it for the Iris OCR SDK. But as I know that there are some people around that know all of this, I wanted still to have some information for them, and I wanted to review what we have developed during the last 12 months inside of the Iris OCR SDK. Maybe you have read also the release notes, but if you have missed them, at least there's a reminder of the 6 most important new features we have introduced. The latest one was the new XLSX output. So we used to have an XLSX output, but the options in there were not so good, I would say. So you could keep the tables, but now we really redeveloped it, and we allow you to recreate exactly the same input document in an Excel sheet if you want to. Now, when you talk about XLSX, normally what you want to do is rework tables. So we have also options where you can keep a table per worksheet. So that would make sense for you to rework your tables afterwards. Next to that, a new big improvement that we've done also is that we have added more fonts for the formatting. In the past, we only had, I would say, 3 types of fonts in order to recreate the Word document or other type of document. We only were using 3 different fonts. Now we have added, and we have more than 12 fonts, I believe, that we can use. So in that case, we are allowing you to recreate a document that is more looking like the original one. Another very important feature that has been requested, especially in a product like ReadIris for many years, is the fact that we can now automatically detect the language of the document that you just scanned in. This was a long-term, as I said, a requested feature, and it took us some time because we had different alphabets. We first needed to recognize the different alphabets, and then inside of the alphabets recognize the languages. It is now available for you to use. We've also improved. We could already do PDF loading, that's for sure, but now if there is a text layer inside of the PDF, we're able to not convert the PDF back to an image and then reprocess OCR. No, we can extract the text layer that you will be able to use when you output your file afterwards. So this would avoid that we would redo the OCR, so you win time and probably accuracy as well. I was saying that we have added languages over the years, and this is certainly true in the last 3 to 4 years, I would say, because we've been working on something you probably have heard, this HQ OCR, which is a brand new OCR engine that we have developed based on artificial intelligence, which basically is learning from itself how to recognize a language. So we have trained the system for new languages, and this new way of working allows us to much quicker be able to support new languages. So over the last 2-3 years, I would say, we have added Vietnamese, Thai, and Hindi recently. That is not completely yet available in the IDRS, but it's in our lab and it's coming very soon. So you see that we can add new languages. So whenever you have a request, don't hesitate to come to us and we'll look into your request. And finally, the team has spent a lot of time also supporting new platforms. So the first one is Linux ARM, and the second one there is Windows ARM, and finally the latest Mac OS, the Big Sur OS that we are supporting. So as you see, we are very busy in developing new features inside of our OCR SDK. Now let's move to the Aris Mobile SDK, which basically is the same as the Aris OCR SDK. And it's important here, it's the same code. So whenever you have integrated the Aris OCR SDK in one of your platform, Linux or Windows, well, it's the same API for the mobile device. Except you see here, there are two modules missing. There's the ICR and the barcode module that we haven't ported. For the barcode module, we think that there is a lot of other engine already available, even if it's not standard. So we haven't ported, we could do it at some point. And for the ICR engine, we don't believe that it is very necessary. So at this stage, they haven't been ported. Now, if we talk about the Aris Extract SDK, I noticed I didn't change. This is Aris. It should be Aris Extract SDK and not Aris Mobile SDK. So there, the technologies are a bit different. So what we have here inside of that SDK, first we can do the classification. Of course, we need to have the system a bit trained to know which type of categories to expect, but in the end, the system is able to classify the different incoming documents, whether it's a mail, an order, an invoice, whatever you can think of. And then once we have sorted, we can do the indexation of the different type of document. And there you can think about whatever you want. In a mail, it might be a name. In an invoice, it will be the data and so on. The data that we will extract will depend on, is it a free form or is it a structured form? So we support both. The free form is something like an invoice where you know which info to look for, but you just don't know where it is. So we are able to look for the information all over the document and find it. So this is not based on templates. But we also have the structured forms where we can go and read some real forms, I would say, where you can have checkboxes, where you can have people write in some information, but also it can be machine printed information that you read on these different types of forms. So we support both of these technology inside of this Aris Extract SDK. And then finally, we have, as in the other toolkits, we can compress and output in the right format for you.
Pierre, I think this is good to remind everyone what you said at the beginning, that this slide is not about Aris Mobile SDK, it's about Aris Extract SDK, and there is a mistake on the slide, so the logo at the top left is wrong. Just to remind everyone, this is Aris Extract SDK.
Yeah, we don't have it on the mobile yet, but okay, that's indeed another logo that we should put here. So there is now a summary of all the different toolkits that we have, the technical details and the pricing. And also, if you look now in the polls, I think Zakaria will put a new poll where we ask you what you expect, what is the most important features of an OCR toolkit, and in which order you would rank it. So you can have a look at that while I still here. I wanted with this slide to give a clear summary of what type of toolkit we have, on which platform they are available. So the Iris OCR SDK, for example, is available on Windows, Mac, and Linux. You have Windows 32, Windows 64, Windows ARM, 64, 32, and so on. So there are a lot more, but these are the three main platforms that we support. We have an API in C, C++, and .NET. And then I wanted to give you some ideas of the pricing, because I think that is important for you to know. And here you have to understand that when we talk about toolkits, there's always a cost to have a developer license, so an SDK price. So this is a one-time cost you need to buy for the Iris OCR SDK. It's 4,000 euros that you buy once to get the ability to integrate our technology into your solution. And then the RTL price is the runtime price, runtime license price that you pay each time you resell your product or your service with our technology inside of it. And as you can read from the Iris OCR SDK, because we have 100% of the technology in-house, we are open to all models that you would propose to us. So we're trying to fit exactly your business model. It can be that it's a percentage, it's a fixed price, it's whatever it is. You can come to us and we can discuss the possibility that we have here. On the Iris Mobile SDK, you see it's available on Android and iOS. It has exactly the same API as the Iris OCR SDK, so C, C++, and .NET. The same pricing for the SDK. And for the runtime license, although we could foresee all models, we usually, when we sell it, we price it based on the number of downloads. So you would pay a price for up to 10,000 downloads, for example, per year, or if you have a highly downloaded software, it can be up to 100,000, whatever. But we try to fit here a model that makes more sense on the mobile devices. And then for Iris Extract SDK, there is the logo that you should have seen in the previous slide. This is only available on the Windows platform. It has a COM API, so it's basically a complete package without UI. It's not really DLLs you attack directly, it's through a COM API that you will communicate with this SDK. It has a fixed price also for the developer license, and then the runtime license there. I believe there are a lot of people knowing Iris Extract listening here. Well, basically, the pricing would be a fraction of the price list for Iris Extract, because of course you integrate into your product, so you would get a higher discount. But this will be something similar to the price list for Iris Extract. So, Zakaria, before I move to the next slide, do you have some results of the poll for me?
Yes, the most voted was accuracy, price, and then speed, with around 50%.
Makes sense. Accuracy is indeed something that we try to work on a lot. Pricing, yes, we have to make a living. It's not always easy with the competition, but we try to do our best. And speed is, of course, I can understand that you can wait a bit longer. So anyway, let's move to the second part of this integration here. We have the products. So we will quickly review the different products. What is important for you to understand is that these products can be bundled or white labeled with your solution. And so we can for sure discuss that and see how it could fit with you. So the Iris Scan is basically, for those who don't know, the high-speed scanning application that Iris has that does a lot of things next to scanning. It does OCR, PDF compression, sorting and capturing, and then you can export to different applications. But the main feature of this product is really to have a high-speed scanning application. And this, I think, is well known to a lot of people that are now listening, because this is a product that Canon sells a lot, and that is now well established on the market. The second one is the ReadIris product. This is a product that we've been developing for almost 30 years, and which basically is a desktop OCR solution, I would say, that allows you to create, convert, edit, protect, sign, and share your documents. And mostly when we talk about documents, we think about PDF. So basically you can input any type of document, image, a scanned image coming from the cloud, or even Office documents. You put them inside of the ReadIris. You do the OCR recognition. You can even correct the text if it's not 100%. You can then sign your documents. You can annotate. You can do a lot of stuff, and then you can output to a PDF file, and then you can read it from a lot of different places, from your computer, your smartphone, or your tablet. So this is really a product we've been developing for a long time, and this year we are bringing out the ReadIris PDF version of it, the ReadIris PDF 21 version, that will have this new interface that you see there on the right. And finally, a product that probably a lot of you don't know so much is the CardIris product, which is a contact management software where we digitalize some business cards, and we then extract the info from business cards, and we put them into all the different information, like consolidate would be the company name here, Mark in the first name, last name would be Smithson, and then sales director. So we do that automatically. And then you can either keep them inside of CardIris, or most likely you will export to your contact management solution, like Microsoft Outlook, for example, or you can share that in the cloud. So this is a nice niche market feature product, I would say, but it's good that you would know that we have something there, because this could be a nice add-on to whatever hardware you would be selling. So we're coming to the same kind of summary I have proposed for the toolkits. Here for the products, you have the technical details and the pricing. And I believe also that we have a third and final poll that Zakaria will now publish, where we basically ask you if you had to bundle as a partner a solution with your hardware or solution, which type of solution would it be? And when we say about which type, is it a full feature product that you would like to have with a certain price, or would you prefer to have a software with limited features but then cheaper, or you would prefer to have a free trial that you bundle with your application? But now let's come back to this slide where we have the three different products, and you see PowerScan is available on Windows only. There is, if you want to do a white labeling, there's already a fixed cost of around 10,000 euro you have to foresee. So that this means we would only replace the name of the software. We don't touch about the features and so on. So, but we could always discuss to add or remove some features for your specific version. And then the runtime license, or the price that you would pay per software would be a price per license. Same goes for ReadIris, but here it is available on a PC and a Mac. Around the same cost for white labeling could be foreseen. We haven't done so far any white labeling of ReadIris because the name is quite well known, but it could be something that we would do. And it's also a price per license. Regarding CardIris, it's only available on Windows. White labeling is not possible here, doesn't really make sense, I would say. And then it's also a price per license. Zakaria, did the people understand the polling?
Yes, and we have two options which have been
Okay.
picked the most. So a product with limited features, less expensive. Now it's the votes changed a bit. No, they're equal again.
Okay.
So a trial version for free and a product with limited features, less expensive.
Makes sense, because yes, indeed, the full product is a bit too expensive to bundle. So indeed, most of the time we have limited versions. Trial is also an option, but I think a limited version is something that we can foresee for sure. Last type of integration that we can foresee is a service. And as I said, this is what we've been working the most lately. And we have a first service available, and that is the account payable service that is available. So this means that instead of having to install a fully iris extract solution, for example, on your site, you can now configure online a service that would allow you to extract all the information, the header and footer information from European invoices. You could also extract line items. The beauty of the service also that is compatible with some of the public database, so we can also retrieve automatically the vendor name and the address data. So no need to pre-configure it with your own vendor list. We can automatically extract them, and also a configuration that you would set up in this service could be directly available on your iris extract platform. So both the service and the iris extract are compatible with each other. So this is, as I said, this is something that is brand new. This is the same slide where I summarize how it is available. So the platform, it's in fact a Docker using the Kubernetes technology. So we are platform independent. It can be Azure, AWS, or Google Cloud, name it. I think we have it currently on Azure, but it can run on any cloud platform. It has a REST API you can directly attack or through an SDK. So that is for the API. The licensing is a subscription, so you pay for a certain amount of time that you want to use the system, and the pricing is per invoice, which is interesting because it's not per page; it is per invoice. I've got some final slide, I believe, to give you some good reason to make some business with Iris. The first one is that we have a good market value and reputation. We've been out there for more than 30 years. We've been developing OCR, compression, a lot of different technologies. We have had long-term partners, whether it is Canon, HP, Adobe. They are all very happy. Certainly with our long-term support, we support quite older versions for these large customers. We have a very good support in terms of supporting the different platforms. For example, you've seen that we have developed a lot of new platforms that we support, so we bring our technology to the most used platforms. We also have a customer-oriented roadmap. I've told you, if you have any requests, whether it's around the languages or something like that, you can always come to us. We'll try to make it fit into our agenda. And finally, I think I've made it clear we have a good commercial flexibility thanks to the fact that we have no royalties that we have to pay to third-party companies. We're developing all of these technology 100% ourselves. So that was it from the presentation point of view. Now, I guess that throughout this presentation, it might have raised some questions. And so I don't know, Pierrick, if you have seen some questions. I've not been looking to concentrate on the presentation.
Yes, indeed. A few questions here. First one, how do you see the competition of open source OCR solutions? Question from Michael.
Yeah, so this is as I said, we have to make a living, and so having free competition is always a problem, and that is a trend that we have seen over the years, and certainly with large companies like Google offering some free OCR, it's always a problem. But we are always able to get around that, because the problem once you have such free initiatives is that you have nobody to talk to when you are stuck with an integration issue or an error. So as long as we can provide good support, people are still willing to pay for it. And even recently, some company have excluded to take the free OCR market or solution, because they wanted to have someone to talk to. So I think as long as we keep a good support, we will still be able to survive in that market.
Okay, very good. Question from David: why don't you have the barcode on mobile platforms?
So I have said it at this stage, because we have to focus on the most important topics and so on. We didn't port it to the mobile platform because we believe there's a lot of different possibilities already around there. So if that would be requested for one project, we could certainly add it. So it's not a problem of technology or anything. It is just a question of priority. And at this stage, we haven't ported it yet. So if we get a request, we can certainly port it.
Okay, a question from Ray. For Iris Pulse, does Iris host it, or partners need to source a host like Azure or AWS on its own? It looks like X4D, but with only the SAP module integrated. Is this the correct understanding? Maybe I can answer this one, Pierre.
Yeah, you can answer it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if that's okay. No, indeed, Iris is hosting Iris Pulse, so that's a platform. Pierre described the first service that is available on the Iris Pulse platform, which is the AP service. So you are right, Ray, that at the moment the first service that we put out is the kind of an equivalent of SPAP from Iris Extract, but we don't want to limit ourselves to invoices in the future. So this is a first of a series of solutions that we will bring to the cloud. That's for the question for Ray. Then another question from Thomas, or Thomas in France. Why don't you focus more on ICR?
Oh, yeah, on ICR, that's indeed a good question. Well, at that stage, ICR is needed mostly in forms application. And in our form application, the Iris Extract platform, we're able to integrate the most known engines. So whenever we need it, we go through the Iris Extract platform. So this is why in the ICR, in the mobile, the OCR SDK, we are not focusing on ICR because this would also request a lot of effort. But recently, as I said, with the HQ OCR, the handwriting could be something that could be considered as a language. So we are looking into to see if with HQ OCR we could not be doing ICR. So we might come back in the coming years, months or years, I don't know, with an engine for ICR using AI. So again, if there is a request from the market where we get a lot of requests, then we will investigate this route.
Okay, very good. Also, there was another question which I answered myself, but I think it may be I answered in writing in the question tab to Alexander. But okay. I think it's a question that may be interesting for everyone who may have been confused. What is the difference between Iris OCR SDK and IDRS? And I answered, yeah, come on.
Yeah, this is a marketing, and so we've recently you've seen all these nice logos that are all looking alike, and this is I will say it because it's his work, but Pierrick and his team did an excellent job in trying to uniformize all the logos, and IDRS, which is really still the name of the DLL. When you integrate it, it's still called IDRS. But the marketing name or the branding name of the toolkit is now Iris OCR SDK. That's why you've seen that, but it's exactly the same.
Excellent. So in case there was some confusion to some other people, maybe it's clarified now. So we have a few more questions, but I would stop here, and those questions that are remaining will be answered directly via email, probably by Pierre. So yeah. Thank you very much, and maybe Zakaria, we can move to the conclusions.
Yes, so thank you very much for attending the webinar, and just to remind you again, you can replay the webinar later today on our website, irisdatacapture.com/webinars, and don't forget to check out our past webinars, and we will of course publish some new webinars after the summer break. Thank you all for your participation. Have a nice day and goodbye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.